Hello, everybody. Welcome to the United Stand. Welcome to the Thursday Night Fan Forum. We're all here, prepped, ready to go, talking City getting knocked out. No, we're not. That was last night. That was still funny, though, wasn't it? Anyway, moving on to United matters. We've got the gang with us tonight. Kev, first of all, evening, mate. Good week so far for you, pal?
So far, so good. Obviously, bank holiday week, so it's through Kev's time sort of body clock out, but I'll take that, mate. Friday tomorrow, and hope everybody in the group here as well, and everybody in the live chat as always. I'll be interested.
Speeds up your beer o'clock, mate. So he's got to be happy with that.
It's brilliant. Love it.
Yes.
Kevin Keegan,
Jordan, mate, how are you doing, pal?
Sorry, on mute. I'm back.
Oh, yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah. All good. Back in the game after a heavy bank holiday weekend. I've had some sleep and I'm charged up, ready to go.
Nice. And Beth, good week so far for you. Obviously, happy with the result last night.
Honestly, yeah, like it's sad that kind of game's got to be one of the best games that I've seen all season. But you know what? Happy with the result and excited to get into some stuff tonight with you guys.
That is it. Sadly, United are nowhere near the Champions League, so we've got to rebuild and get back up there competing on them nights. That's what United used to be all about. It's a long time since, I can't remember the last semi-final in the Champions League, actually. But anyway, we move on. We've got to start building again for the future. And obviously, transfer window is round the corner. Silly season, some would call it, Kev. It's all going mental again. Surprise. Breaking news: Fabrizio Romano has been talking. And obviously, the man in the know. We're going to start with, obviously, the areas that Manchester United need more. Romano has said, if asked one transfer that he wants to look out for this, or everyone should look out for this window, Kev, is Nunez to possibly Manchester United. Now, we're all looking at it, we're going, there's a reason why players live for the Champions League and want to be in teams that are in the Champions League. It was nights like last night. It's nights like what happened in the game before, Liverpool as well. Epic nights that are always going to be remembered, and players will live for them nights, and they will always remember them. Like I said, this is why I didn't think that this was a possibility, but United must be pulling some sort of string if United are supposedly, and the words are, in a solid, strong position to go in for Nunez. First of all, do you like the man? Do you think he's the right fit? I'm going to swing the question around a little bit, but can you actually see United getting a player of that sort of calibre, considering where we are and what we're going to be fighting and competing in next season?
I think the thing with Nuno is, if you read into it, and you're going off pure speculation, but it does sound like he is interested by the proposal or whatever Manchester United might throw at him. The thing you have to look at is the money involved in that fee. And you kind of look at the Haaland thing and think you could probably get one or the other for the same price. Now, the sickening thing as a Manchester United fan is, I think we can all accept from the bottom of our hearts that Haaland would not be interested in coming to Manchester United. That is Manchester United's fault. I would say a couple of seasons ago, if we'd have built on it, we'd be in a position to sign Haaland. But I think at the minute, it's just a no-go area. I don't even think it's worth a bid. I think we know that Haaland will be going elsewhere. Nunez fits the bill. Fantastic player. He's big, strong. Some people might look at him and say, is he a bit of a B-Tech kind of Haaland? But he's got the physical attributes. I was going to say more of a kind of Ruud van Nistelrooy kind of figure. But I mean, that is bigging him up. If he was half the player that Van Nistelrooy was, then you've got some signing. But there's no doubt, as an attacking option, that is something that we need. And we know that he gets on with Ronaldo. So we have spoke about it previously, where you look and think Ronaldo won't want to play second fiddle to somebody, but what a player to bring in who would be certainly in awe of Ronaldo and could learn a lot from him. But I think it would be a fantastic signing, but it wouldn't come cheap, would it? But hopefully, if we can get a free run at him and we can get it done, then it's a player that maybe we wouldn't have looked at a few years ago when we were kind of shopping in Harrods. You know, now we're kind of looking in Primark. You can get some top stuff in Primark. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, let's try something different, man.
Hey, It's perfect for United, overnight fashion, isn't it? Primark, wear it once and throw it away. It's exactly what United do. So it fits
I didn't
quite
mean
well,
that. I don't mean let's play him and then just throw him away. Like,
listen, don't be dissing Primark. My kids model for Primark. Leave them alone.
there we go.
Quality stuff. Jordan, on that, Kev just brought in Ronaldo there. Romano himself has said, look, Ronaldo is happy at the moment. Nothing has changed. Situation is he's going to be a Man United player next season. Can you see Ronaldo giving up his place for someone like Nunez? Because we've got Ronaldo as the focal point, and obviously we know how Ten Hag likes to play. Or should we be looking at someone of that sort of value? And I dare say, like, when you spend that much money on a player, and you shouldn't obviously assume that goes straight into the team, but in the position that United are in terms of what we're spending and what we're having to pinpoint our spend on, if Ronaldo is staying, is that a sign that you would look at to make the most or spend the most money on?
For me, it's about the midfield. I feel like that's where we really, really need to spend the big money. But Ronaldo's a team player and he's a winner and he wants the best for Man United. He's not stupid. He's aware that he can't play every minute of every single game, and he is going to want somebody to come in and take that pressure off. He's not going to be sat there and another player starting and then him not want them to do well. He's going to want them to deliver. It takes the pressure off of him. It means that he can stay fresh for the right games. He knows he's at the tail end of his career. So in terms of bringing someone in and they then push Ronaldo for the starting spot, well, ultimately it's him helping to oversee that transition for us moving into a new era. I think this signing for us, if we can get it over the line, would be very similar to when Chelsea signed Drogba. He wasn't a player that everybody was screaming about, everybody knew about, but he's strong, he's a goal scorer, he can lead the line. I personally didn't know a lot about him until we started to get linked to him, and then you know what it's like. You start watching highlights and all of a sudden he becomes the player that you want. I watched something about him earlier and he's a beast. In terms of a player that you look at and you go, hasn't played in the Premier League, but could they adapt? You look at his physique and his overall game, you think he's tailor-made for the Premier League. Where you look at some other strikers and you just think, are they a little bit timid going into that league? Is it going to take them time to get up to speed? I think he'd hit the ground running for us.
Is that one for you, Beth? Because Romano's talking now. Obviously, this is one to watch out for. And past that, it goes down to what I would say is more of a realistic sort of target in Richarlison from Everton. I mean, it's night and day for me. You have said in previous shows, Beth, that you don't mind the likes of Richarlison. If, like Jordan said there, we're looking to invest most of our money in the midfield, where I think everyone knows is more desperate. Should we be swerve balling Nunez?
It's a difficult one because you don't actually know what type of career Nunez is going to go on and have. I think at the moment he looks like a really great up-and-coming young striker, and that's a really positive sign. Like, he's only 22 years old, which I think is a massive plus. Done very well in the Champions League, which you look at the league that he's in, sometimes you can't completely compare it to the Premier League because it's a different kettle of fish, in my opinion. Players often come and they might not be able to adapt, but the fact he's doing it in the Champions League is always a decent sign to me when it comes to a player. I think the only thing I'd criticise from what I've seen is maybe his hold-up play isn't the best, but that's something that you can work on over time. But I think as a striker and the other attributes to his game, his height, his physical strength, his striking ability, I think I wouldn't complain if we went and bought him. I think it'd be a great signing for Manchester United, and I think he'd be one where he wouldn't come straight into the first team. You'd kind of guide him into there with Ronaldo as the father figure, basically, and he's kind of the understudy, and he would eventually take the number 9 role off Ronaldo, which is something that we want as well. We've said that all along. We spoke about it at the start of the season that we wanted Greenwood to do that. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. So we need a replacement for that, and we need someone to come in and be Manchester United's next number 9. The only problem for me is, in the predicament that we're in, is he's going to cost 75, 80 million. That's the majority of the transfer budget gone. We're desperate for 2 midfielders. We're desperate for fullbacks, arguably a winger as well. Is that where you want to throw your money at right now when you've already got options if Ronaldo stays? 100% threadbare. We need a striker, but you can't. Rome wasn't built in a day. You need to fix everywhere. And that's the only problem that I've got. And And like you said before, I do like Richarlison, opposed to what a lot of people think. I think he's a decent player, but when you're looking at the two and potential-wise, I do think Nunez has a higher potential when it comes to an out-and-out striker, and definitely would be the better option. But of course, you pay for what you get. He's a more expensive option as well.
What is the attraction with Richarlison in terms of what we're looking for there?
He's not like one of them where I'm like, wow, I think Manchester United should go out and get him. But when we got linked to him, I was surprised at how many people were like so against it and shocked about it.
He's not good, Beth.
No, but he's better than what we've got, Jordan.
Yeah, but so's everyone.
Well, that's a shout. I'm not out here saying we should go out and get Richarlison. He wouldn't be on my number one transfer targets. But I'm also not sitting here saying, wow, I hate that deal. That is that is awful, because he would walk into our first team, like he would. But it's just, he's not like, oh, I think we need Richarlison to fix his team. I don't think that, but I don't think he would be a bad option. Definitely not.
Guys, just a question for you on that point. You know, we're talking about the amount of positions that need attention, and our transfer budget is only going to stretch so far.
Squad.
Yeah, pretty much. Something we hasn't been talked about is, do you think we're going to try and exploit the free agent market like the PSG have done and Barca have done?
We did discuss this, and we brought up the likes of Ericsson on the show the other day. It was like a case of, do we look at that? Do we actually be savvy? Do we be clever? I mean, obviously, Lawler and Bout, the head scouts, have gone from United now. So we've been linked with several players already. Who's running the ship? Who's looking at these players now? Who's earmarked these players? That's a big question, isn't it, Jordan? Because someone's got to be doing, like you said there as well. You have to be savvy. You have to be clever in the transfer market, especially in our position. Yeah. I mean, we are losing a lot of players, I know, and that does free up a lot of wage structure, and that has to be utilised properly. But it's a good question to pose, because, I mean, is there anyone that you know of, Jordan, that you would bring in there? Is Ericsson a man that, I mean, I'm watching his deliveries in the flesh the other day for Brentford. Yeah. Scary delivery. And I know Ronaldo would thrive off that sort of delivery.
Yeah. I said on the fan forum the other night, 100%, if he's available on a free transfer, for me, that's a no-brainer. If we're losing the experience of someone like Mata, then, that is a deal that we'd get done. We can't spend money on every position. We've got to be clever, like you said, and have a look at this free agency market. You look at Barcelona and what they've managed to do this season with not having, a pot to piss in pretty much. They've managed to pull players in and turn their season around without spending a lot of money at all. PSG have been very good at it. And the flip side of it is we're on the other end of it, where we've got loads of players leaving for free. So those players are going to go somewhere else. So why shouldn't, we welcome other players with open arms who are available for free? But Ericsson definitely is someone I would have a look at.
Ericsson, definitely. I mean, obviously, Nkunku's been touted quite a lot, and that player of that mold is sort of in between the forward, isn't he? He's like a hybrid sort of forward character, but does have qualities. I mean, Kev, have you watched much of him? Do you know much about him? Have you been watching him in European competitions this year, like most people have? Like Jordan says, when a name comes up, you start to research and look more, but it's another position that isn't midfield, Kev, again. And all the names coming up and popping up in all the main sort of outlets at the moment are positions that I'm thinking, it's not top of my list. I mean, it's big money for most of them as well. So, again, we can't afford to have that window where it's like, oh, there's that shiny new toy that I've got to have. I mean, you've already got 4 of a different type of that. So let's prioritise something else, mate, innit?
We've done that, haven't we? He's a fantastic player. Now, unless you're going to shake it up and you've got a brand new system coming in, which it could possibly happen. But I think Jordan knocks the nail on the head. The main position we need to be looking at is sorting out 2 midfielders to start every game for Manchester United. That's the main engine room of Manchester United. And we can look back to other deals that we've done of players where we were like, you could even argue Jadon Sancho, did we actually need him last season when we signed him? Fantastic player, a great prospect. He's got a great career ahead of him. But did we actually need him last season? Did he make much of a difference? Could that 80 million have been spent better by getting one, maybe two midfielders in, which for me would have made a hell of a lot of difference in games that we lost last season? So, yeah, you have to be careful, because looking back on Manchester United's history, we've had this tendency to sign players that, like you say, it's great and they get paraded about and we all get excited. But when you look, you think, is that exactly what this team needs? You know, Alexis Sanchez was another prime example where I think a lot of us celebrated the fact that Manchester City didn't sign him. And we were like, yeah, we've got one over on him. Looking back, man, he chose Manchester United purely for the money that was on offer. And it was a disastrous transfer, that one. You have to look at it and go, we didn't need him. He was the shiny new toy, as you say. We brought him in, didn't work out. So for me, it's about addressing areas on the field that we have been crying out for. And for me, the glaring one is the midfield area needs addressing ASAP.
That's it. I mean, Beth, you were just about to touch on Nkunku there. With Ten Hag coming in, is that going to fit into our style? Is he that type of player?
Well, that's the thing. I think Nkunku's a great player. And if there was a plan involved, I think he'd hit the Premier League, hit the ground running. But with the way Ten Hag plays at Ajax, I'm assuming he's going to want to play with a number 9, like a poacher. And he seems to be more of a false 9. And if he's not playing that, then maybe even a cam. So it's like, I don't know if he's going to work in the plan, but I do think he's a great, great player. It's just what the plan would be with him. And we'll only know that once Ten Hag comes in and once we see which targets we're going for. But if we are looking to play with a false 9 or play him in a different position, which he thinks he can mould him into, again, I think he's a great player. But it's what are you spending the money on? Do you know what I mean? It's like Jordan just said, you could go and get Eriksen to play in the midfield on a free. And say if you've got Eriksen and Nkunku, and then you've got Bruno as well, and you've got Donny van de Beek coming back, it's like these are all forward-thinking midfielders. We need to bring in other positions on the pitch, and that's why I think Nkunku's a great player, but is he a priority right now? I'm not sure.
I agree with you there, Beth. I think it's you've hit the nail on the head. A sign-in, but no plan with it, and we've made that mistake so many times under Ollie. We've signed players for the player, but not for the system. And I think, Ten Hag will definitely sign players for his system.
And it's like as well, that's the thing with Sancho, a great player, like Kev just said, great player. And I think he was needed because look at our options in the forward line. But he's a right winger that we've been playing on the left. There was clearly no plan. Do you know what I mean? It's just we need a plan.
That's it. I guarantee one thing: Ten Hag will be watching that cup final next Wednesday, along with 50,000 United fans, Jordan. There will be some players playing there and showboating and putting on an audition effect with Ten Hag coming through. We know what he's like with young players. Is there a chance we could save a little bit of money in certain positions there and prioritise the most needed position? Is there anyone that stands out for you in them forward positions that we've just been talking about that, do you know what? They could come in, replace some of the first team players every now and then, and that then gives us that big pot of cash that's supposedly there to go and get that CDM, mate.
Yeah, and I think Kev said earlier, it's not one midfielder we need to sign. We need to sign 2. I seen like a list of midfielders the other day, and everyone was like, "Which one of these do we need to sign?" Well, actually, we need 2. So yeah, it needs to happen. I think the issue is that we try and force the youth issue, try to find somebody. And partly because we've been successful with obviously the class 92 in the past, we look for somebody to come through. You want youth players to naturally find their feet and not an over-reliance on them. That's going to be part of this rebuild. Part of the rebuild is spending that 150 million transfer budget on the correct targets. And then the other part of it is utilising players within the squad and getting them to raise their game. And then exploiting this free agency market. There's definitely players out there. And you're not talking, you don't need to sign 4 or 5, but if you could get 2 good free agents, sign 3 good players or 4 good players for the 150 million, 2 from the youth come through, and then you galvanise 3 or 4 within the squad, or Rashford, utilise Donny van de Beek, and suddenly you've got 9-10 players within that squad, and it suddenly feels fresh again.
It does indeed. I mean, Kev, anyone out there in that game next week, cup final, you're looking forward to watching and thinking may have an opportunity? I mean, funnily enough, playing Forest have got one of our players in Jimmy Garner, another player that's obviously going to come back with bags of experience now, first team football. Again, the pre-season is going to be interesting to see Ten Hag get his hands on some of these players and some of the young players. But anyone there that you think could take that little step up? We've seen a few glimpses over the last few weeks. Anyone in particular?
Do you know all I'm looking forward to is seeing an actual team play together and actually
Can't
go
have them
out.
all, mate, though, unfortunately. Yeah, but you're right.
No, but it'll just be so refreshing. I mean, I got my ticket today. I was a bit late to the party on that one, so I've clicked on and I was like, you know, they've opened up the top tiers now. That's how many tickets they've. And I'm like, geez. So there was like the top tier of the North Stand, obviously top tier East Stand, top stand Stretford End, and I'm like, you're literally up in the gods. And then you realise how many tickets they've sold for this game, and it's unbelievable. You know how many people are. You know, what is it? Over 50,000 tickets
it's over
already sold. Which
it's
is
going to be a
incredible.
record, I think, for an FA Youth Cup final.
Hell.
I think it already is. Yeah,
That's mental.
More than what goes to the Etihad, you know, to watch City, who are supposed to be a great team.
Clip it!
You got it in. Fighting talk, man. No, but listen, I'm interested to go because I want to see a team that play for the shirt. And I know it sounds like I'm a passion merchant and all that, but it'll be refreshing. And this is obviously the pathway for some of these younger lads. And everybody remembers the class of 92, the cup final, what it did for them. And they become household names as, you know, worldwide stars at Manchester United. So, you know, you have to look at that. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a great atmosphere as well.
That's it. Anyone for you quickly, Beth, before we move on? That youth team, are you looking forward to watch? Like Kev said, as a team, they're a different ball game altogether. But anyone you think might tempt Ten Hag into sort of giving some game time to?
I think Garnacho is unbelievable. Obviously, he's been training with the first team. I think he just looks different level, and I think he's someone that can definitely come through. But like Rangnick said, the pace of them games is very different to the Premier League. So it's players that you're going to have to ease in and you're going to have to bring them through. But I feel like the talent is definitely there with a lot of them players. McNeil's another one. Hannibal as well. He's a player we saw come on against Liverpool. And we didn't see anything special, but the attitude was there. And I'm just excited to see a decent game of football. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. We all are.
And the left back Fernandez as well looks good. And we're looking for fullbacks. It's someone you can have a look at, and might not come through straight away, but get him on a loan, like Garner's done. Get him on a loan to either a top championship team or a low Premier League side, and let them have this game time every week, because a lot of them will definitely get in.
Exactly that. Yeah. That's it. I mean, we've got Ahmad Palestri to come back. Obviously, Donny. There's a lot of players that you can sort of look into there, but I mean, players. We might even be able to spend more money. I mean, there's players within this squad that United could obviously offload as well. So there is an opportunity there. I was going to bring up something else that Romano was touching on, which is Marcus Rashford. Jordan, I'll come to you on this first. Marcus Rashford wants guarantees of playing time. If he used to stay at Manchester United, he wants to speak with Ten Hag. Obviously, that's fine, but it's the wants his reassurances on game time, which is where I'm struggling to sort of comprehend how he even has a right to even ask that. You got to earn your spot, and if, like you said, if we know Ten Hag is, you get one chance, you're in or you're out. If you don't impress, I think he's going to take one look at him if he's got that sort of attitude, and I don't see a future for him unless he changes his attitude and his mentality very quickly.
If that's his attitude heading into the conversation, I think that isn't going to end well for him with Ten Hag. Yes. I don't know who he thinks he is to be calling the shots, talking about demanding game time. If he's in that position, then I'm sorry, but he goes on the list of players that we can let go this summer. And I know that's harsh, but if he hasn't got the right attitude where he wants to knuckle down, come back early from pre-season, get himself fit and want to prove a point, that's the attitude. It should be like, I want to show Ten Hag that I am the right player for Man United. I am worthy of a first team, not is he going to make me a first teamer? You've got to earn the right to wear this badge. And that attitude has run through this club far too long. Like they're entitled. They're not entitled. And if they have that attitude, then they need to go.
Well, look at the send off. Look at the send off that Mata and Matic got. You know, the other night. There was a mutual respect from the fans and then players that walked off the pitch. Now, not many of them could have held their heads high, but you've got Matic and Mata playing their last games at Old Trafford, last home game, and the fans applauded that. You know, when have these players that are seasoned pros ever come out and moaned about being a substitute, not being in the team? They train every day. They want to work to get into the team. And whenever they're brought in, you hear no moaning or anything. And that's the one thing with these youth players of today. They get it all too soon. And like Jordan says, they feel like they're entitled to basically everything. They get given everything far too soon. And you have to fight for your place in the team. That's absolute rubbish. Where does your motivation come from as a footballer when you're on 200 odd grand a week? You've got the big fancy house in Audley Edge. You're driving Bentleys, whatever. You know, I've made it. There has to be more to it. You're a sports person at the end of the day. And I would always say it's your job. Do it for yourself. Just do it for the fans. Do it for the fans that are coming to pay, you know, week in, week out and following you up and down the country, like Adam.
Do you know what as well? It's like, when you look at, how can you look at your season? And I'm a fan of Rashford, but how can you look at the season and think, I can go into that meeting demanding game time? Like after the way you've played, like he'll know the way he's played. And it's like when Jesse Lingard's brother put on Instagram 3 cup things.
Can roll that into it, Beth. Go for it.
Are these players living off the past? Yes, Jesse Lingard has had good moments in the past. 100%. Rashford has had brilliant moments in the past. But that doesn't give you a right to start every game, no matter how poor you're playing in the present. Like, it's in the present moment, you are not playing well. So you can't use things from years ago to make it demand that you've got game time. As if you've performed before, that doesn't automatically give you a right to be in that first team forever. And I feel like that's the kind of attitude you're seeing here, because they must believe in themselves. They must believe their own hype, which in some cases I think is 100% needed in players. You've got to be confident. You've got to think you can get back. But you've also got to take a harsh look at your game and think to yourself, am I doing everything I can be to be at that level still? And in my opinion, obviously not, from the way that they've been playing.
Exactly that.
I think just one last point on the Rashford thing. Like, yes, he's got a decent length of his contract left. So at the moment, the power's with the club. But as we've seen with the other players, Lingard's, Pogba's, that quickly changes. And, you know, I know that people are saying, the club are saying he's not leaving this summer. He's definitely not leaving this summer. If he ain't got the right attitude at this point, at this reset, they need to make a decision on him.
Yeah, they do. They definitely. I think this is the right time and the right summer to do it, especially with the reset and everything that's going on. Like you said, it is, and I think it is something that should be high on the agenda for Manchester United to deal with, because, funnily enough, first time we get a team playing like a team, and a few people picked up on it outside Old Trafford talking to me. There wasn't one English player in that team playing against Brentford, and all of a sudden we actually looked like a team. So I'm not putting it out. I'm not saying that them English lads are the leaks or the problems, but facts are facts. Everyone was in agreement. Yeah, it may have been the end of the season and a nothing sort of game, showcase, say goodbye to a few players. But in that starting lineup, there wasn't one. And we looked like we all wanted to play. So just putting that one out there, it's interesting and an interesting fact. But yeah, there's a lot to go on. But we are going to get into a little bit of a game now, and everybody can join in on this one as well. We're going to go 150 million. Let's just play it out this way. I want, and I've asked them beforehand, everyone on the panel has had a little bit of an opportunity to think about 3 players or one big summer signing. 150 million. Split it as you want into 3 players and that one big player, if there was one available. One could be available because West Ham are not making the Champions League next season. Looking at this game, it's all going a bit Pete Tong. So, Jordan, I'm coming to you first, mate, on this one. Who is and how would you spend that 150? You've always said, And if you want, throw in your free transfer because that's nothing and it's not been spent, mate. So give me 4 if you want. I'll give me 3 and hit me with the positions as well.
Yeah. I would take Eriksen on that free transfer, definitely. I just think that is a straightforward deal to do and shouldn't have massive issues getting that deal done. The fact that he trained with Ajax and the relationship there, that should be an easy one for us to do. I do like the look of Nunez, like we were saying. I think he can lead the line. I think he would do well for us, take the pressure off of Ronaldo. Midfield is the key area. For me, I would still try and get the Basuma deal done. I know Beth's going to say he's been going on about Basuma for about 18 years.
About to say, if I hear Basuma again.
I just think he's a baller. I like him. And I like the look at Timber. I think we need tightening up back there. And again, it's players. What you want is Ten Hag to come in and have generals on the pitch, players that he knows, he trusts, and knows his system. And you're going to have Donny who knows his system. And if you can sign 1 or 2 players from Ajax, again being respectful with the situation, but these generals out on the pitch and they lead by his example. I think that could be a good look. How many is that? That's my 3. There you go. I just realised I've done 3. I could have been here all day because we need about 11.
And Jordan, if all of a sudden that marquee came, that player that was worth that money, is there anyone out there that you would say, right now, let's spend this money. Let's spend this money on the right man, the one man. Is there anyone out there for you that is that good?
I think our team is absolutely riddled and it's not a one-man fix. Yeah. So I really wouldn't get excited and blow the budget on one person. I think we have to sign a spine of a team. Otherwise, it's therapy stand all season next year.
Yeah. Yeah, say that. Beth, what's your picks?
Right, so I'm going to go straight in there. Shuamini, 70 mil. I think we can get him for 70 mil.
There's where your money's being spent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Half the budget gone.
Right, sweet. And then also with that, I'm going to go with free transfer of Kamara.
Okay.
Well, he's on a free. I know United aren't interested, but this is my.
Yeah, that's fine.
My own thing. And then on top of that, you're going to laugh at me. No, I'm going to spend 65 mil on a centre back. So how much of the budget have I used there?
So you spent 100. No, you've got 135, haven't you?
135.
135. Right, okay. So that I'm going to go with Koundé from Sevilla.
Okay.
Yeah. And then with the rest of the money, I'd try and get a fullback in. I'd try and get a right back in, but I'm not sure who you could get for that amount of money. But I generally think you need a decent CDM, and I think Shuamini is great. And I also think you need a decent centre back, and I think Jules Koundé is very good. And I do like the look of Pau Torres, and people keep saying Pau Torres, but for me personally, I've not seen anything good enough in him for him to be.
I didn't think he was great the other night.
No, neither. I don't think he'd pair well.
Bad night to judge, wasn't it?
So yeah, that's what I would go with. But if you could get Lamptey out of Brighton, but I feel like that's going to be like 40 million. So maybe I've got over budget there. I'll do it on Klarna. I'll pay finance each month.
That's it. It's fair shout. I don't think many people were expecting that one from Beth, but. Kev, off what Jordan's done, what Beth's done there, anyone in the comments tempted you with theirs in there? Who's your ideal 3, mate?
I think Eriksen's an absolute no-brainer. Christian Moore in the super chat has kind of stolen me thunder on Rudiger. I understand he's in talks with other clubs, but this is Kev, the manager here, so I convince him to come and play for Kev. So I've got Rudiger, Eriksen, and then I probably would have to bring in 3 £50 million players. So I'm going to have to argue here on Ruben Neves. I'm going to throw in maybe Phil Jones and Eric Bailly or a couple of players. We do some kind of a deal like that. I probably would be able to tempt Calvin Phillips from Leeds at around 50 million, I think, roughly. I've got 50 million left, haven't I? Mm-hmm. Get a statue of Phil Jones or something outside Old Trafford, maybe. I don't know. I've not thought this through properly now. How many players was that there for? So I've got another 50 million to spend. I could possibly then address the right-back situation without talking about outs, and I could possibly look at a player that's just been mentioned, Lamptey.
Yeah,
he's a baller.
Can you would say
He's a
that?
baller.
How much do you reckon he would cost? Because I'm thinking, how much have I got left? 30 million?
Yeah,
He's not going to cost that much. I mean,
might have a bit of change
Brighton,
there left over.
Yeah,
Brighton
but
are
it's
not
really nice.
stupid.
From like Graham Potter, come on.
Yeah, Premier League managers these days have just got that thing when anyone comes in for their players, they're all like, no, all of a sudden they turn into Champions League players and they go up to 70, 80 million. It's like, settle down. But
realistically,
I do agree.
40, 45 mil for Lamptey. Can't be more than that, surely.
Imagine that for a back four next season, though. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but Lamptey right back. Luke Shaw, you'd like to think could get back into being Shawberto Carlos at left back. And then you've got Varane and Rudiger, centre backs.
Rudiger's not coming, Kev.
I know.
Yeah, I think that's set up for Madrid, that one, isn't it? Would Spence from Nottingham Forest not fill your 15 million, Beth?
That's what I mean. I've just seen the comments and I was talking about him the other day and how good I think he is. The only problem is I think he's a great player, but you just never know how good someone's going to be when they step up to that level. But I think he does look very, very good. Very good.
Yeah, I'm thinking Nick Powell's. I'm thinking Nick Powell right here, right now, thinking he looked great at Crewe. And then he came to United and disappeared. There's a few that do it. There is a few. It's a tough step up, especially from not Championship to Premier League, but Championship to Manchester United.
Dan James,
a step up.
Dan James is an example of it, isn't it, really, as well?
Well, I think, to be fair, I think he would have no problems with, when you're looking at the attacking style of play, it's just defensively, whether you can rely on Varane that much to cover him, because he is a right back who likes to get forward. But I'm all for that. I love that, and Ten Hag does do that with his full backs as well. So, if you've got Kamara and Tchouaméni in there, which is my transfers, you might be able to cover it.
Are we still hearing that Tchouaméni's going to Liverpool?
There's news, isn't there? But nothing's confirmed, is it?
Tell him to give us half a chance. Like, for fuck's sake. Give us a yard, like.
I mean, I tell you what he's going to be interesting is what Real Madrid do in the summer. I mean, their midfield is very, very old, and it's a scary thought. Obviously, they already took Camavinga, and we've seen how he's integrated in that team as well.
What a player!
Don't, because it's actually so frustrating, because we were going on about him so much last summer. We need to buy him. We need to buy him. Richard comes on saying, you were going to get Camavinga for 25 mil, but you decided to go for Ronaldo instead. And obviously, Ronaldo's been amazing, but Camavinga's, why didn't you just do it for an extra 25 mil, honestly?
Yeah. They could have made that deal happen after Ronaldo. They really could. There was no reason why they wouldn't have been able to. Ronaldo paid for himself, so let's not kid ourselves. That deal was paid for instantly. But, you look at them players and you go, there was one that definitely slipped the net. Jumps it big time, because you look at it and going, well, then like Jordan, you said, there's leaders, and we've been looking for leaders, and to slot right into that Madrid team. I mean, that with the players around him and the quality of players in there, I'm like, oh my God, devastating.
It's like that. It's like Jude Bellingham as well, isn't it? These young players play. They're just fearless. There's almost no respect for who you are or for what team you are. They just play their own game. They're absolute ballers.
Yeah. Well, I've just seen a comment that's reminded me. At the time, do you remember it was coming out of the Manchester United coaching staff and the board that Camavinga, they wasn't sure whether to spend that amount of money because he's one for the future and he wouldn't be in the squad straight away and he wouldn't be in the first team straight away. It's so delusional. He'd be starting in that team every week if he was there now. And he's
don't forget, Bev, this is the same Manchester United hierarchy that said Jesse Lingard is going to be a pivotal part of the team running through for chasing top four in January in the transfer window. So, no wonder there's a lot of people losing their jobs right now at this football club. That's all I will say. Seems
like we always miss out on the ones that end up being good.
But that's what Manchester United used to be, building for the future. That's why the Camavinga one, it's a ridiculous even thing if Manchester United have come out and said that. We can't guarantee he'll be in the first team straight away. It goes back to what we talked about earlier. If you're good enough, if you're old enough or whatever, you're in the team. You are in that team. And Manchester United's problems have gone from signing players that are past it. You can look back to Bastian Schweinsteiger. Ibrahimovic was good at Manchester United, but it was only a short-term fix. Igalo on loan, Cavani to an extent, and even now Ronaldo's ripping up at United. Do not get me wrong, but if you're looking and you want to break up that and start signing these players that are one for the future and getting the absolute best years out of them, that's the road you have to go down, not these players that are coming towards the end of their careers.
Yeah, I mean, all of you jump in on this one. It's like Darren says there, obviously, Brandon Williams. Are there any of these loan players that are out there at the moment you think could be revitalised under Ten Hag? We've got some names out there. We've got some players. Is there anyone in particular? I mean, Donny's obviously a clear one because of the links from beforehand, but Brandon Williams, for you, I mean, Jordan, is he good enough? I mean, I've seen potential when he first came, but it's that second season syndrome, I think, hit him. Obviously, changes of managers have not helped, but I mean, you look at Laird, Menge, Williams, there's players out there that you know what, you just never know.
Yeah, Pellistri, Ahmad. Plus, you've got Tony Martial coming back. You know, there's so many players for a team that has no options. It's mad, isn't it, when you actually think about it? We can sit here, we can reel off so many names, but none of them seem to be the answer at the moment. For me, Brent, Williams, I just can't. I can't see it. I just can't, unfortunately. And again, I've said this in the past. That's okay. You come through the youth, sell at a value, and invest that money in the first team. You know, it is what it is. I don't know. It is interesting to see what kind of lease of life these players have under the new manager and a new system. I think what's his name? That's out on loan. We were about to sell him. My mind's gone blank. He's been on loan for about 4 years.
Pereira.
He's another one. He's gone.
I forget he's still actually at the club.
I actually just forgot his name. That's how bad it is. I genuinely forgot his name. He's another one that, you know, it's the end of the road. We've got to move these players on and get something for them rather than them walk away for nothing. I think we just keep making the same mistakes. But I think the biggest thing for me is, like I said earlier, we just seem to keep forcing it. You know, even with Alanga now, we're in a position where we're having to overplay him. I don't think he should be playing as much, but there is no other options. And I think you want these players to come in with no pressure on their shoulders and just given the freedom to just sort of express themselves and not feel the need to have to carry the club and just embrace wearing the badge. And that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, Beth, like I said, Dan mentioned, it's like forgotten players like Menge and Laird who, so what have been taught. I mean, I like the look of Laird. I do think there is a player in there. Definitely, it's a fullback position that we need. Is there like I said, I just want to see these players with Ten Hag. I want to see him get that pre-season, see what jumps out. It's just not got enough time, and they're all like it's that decision. It's like we said with Rashford before. It's that summer where it's like such a big decision on so many different areas, and with it being a short summer and so many issues coming in, you want him to get the time, but I just feel like he's going to have so much to do that we may actually lose out on a few of the players that we've already got as well because you can't see all of them.
I do like Laird, like you said, but the only problem I have is he's not starting regularly for Bournemouth. And it's like, if he's not starting regularly for Bournemouth, is he good enough to play for us? Like, it's one of them questions.
It's like you said, isn't it? Is that a problem with our youth players again? Because like I said, the ones that come straight into the team, like Alanga, not had a bad season. Not all of them are that lucky. It's about taking a chance in the red shirt, isn't it?
Well, it is. And I 100% think Garner, I mean, if we're in a better position, I would say give him another loan at Nottingham Forest. I mean, they might even be coming up. I mean, they're in the playoffs, aren't they? So potentially it'd be good. It'd be great if they come up and you give him another year there. But I actually think we need him. So I think he will end up coming back. I don't think he'll go out on loan again. I think he'll be part of the United squad next year. I definitely think there's a player in there, and I think he will make it at United. I think Pellistri and Ahmad are two players I definitely want to have a look at if I was Ten Hag. Yes, Ahmad's loan has been up and down at Rangers, but he has had some game time, and I think the times that I saw him in a United shirt, I thought he looked pretty good, to be honest with you. So I'd give him a chance. And Palestri's been doing really well as well in Spain. He's been on loan for 2 years now at that club, hasn't he? And he seems to be doing pretty well. And then, to be honest, obviously Donny van de Beek speaks for itself. Again, not an amazing, successful loan. Been a little bit unlucky with injuries, but worked with Ten Hag before, seen what he's done under Ten Hag. So I think that's an exciting one. I think he's going to come back a brand new player under the likes of Ten Hag, who's coached him before. Also, I actually think Martial would be great under Ten Hag, but I think he wants to leave. So that's not one that we'll be looking at, really, unfortunately.
Do you think he's got much interest?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know who's going to go for him because he's not had a successful loan either.
This is, I mean, Kev, I'll bring you in on this one. I could see Martial going back out on loan, to be honest, because it's like we said, if Ralph Rangnick, he has come out and said he did have a say in who came in as the manager. We know what Ralph Rangnick thinks of Anthony Martial. We've seen what happened at Aston Villa that time. Obviously, that's going to go straight into the mindset of Ten Hag, and I think we could sort of, I'm open to everyone being rekindled and obviously come back stronger, new lease of life and whatnot. But like I said, again, the time factor, he needs time to look at them. And right now, Martial is ready to and he's demanding. And that comes in with that problem again, like Rashford. I want to know. Well, no. All you need to know is you've got to earn your spot in the team. It's just too much to do in one summer. And I think the impatience of some of these players could play a key factor in them leaving the club as well, Kev.
Yeah, for me, there's no kind of hunger there. As I said earlier, I think the majority of them think they've made it. The Martial one, I'd love to see him get it right at Manchester United. Like a lot of Manchester United fans, we know there is a player there. And if he leaves Manchester United, we know he'll move on somewhere else, and he'll show us exactly what we all knew he was capable of. It's whether Ten Hag can look at it and think, I can get him into a system. But listen, at the end of the day, he did refuse to play for Manchester United. And as you rightly say, Rangnick will have put that into the dossier and that will be handed over to Ten Hag when he comes in on player profile, everything. And that will be everything he'll need to know. The Brandon Williams one, it's been a tough loan for him, hasn't it? Norwich. It's a difficult club when you've basically been relegated.
You've seen Gilmore, one of the brightest stars, and he's struggled. Yeah.
So I think it's quite hard to gauge Brandon Williams' development because he probably hasn't developed over the last year. And unless you'd say Gilmore is a really good talent, but you are not going to stand out in a team like that is more or less getting battered every other week, been relegated already, morale is low. And left back at Manchester United, as we know, is or has been a problem with Shaw and Telles. Nobody seems to want to own it. And I did say after the Liverpool fan forum, when we got absolutely dicked at Anfield, I looked at that left back spot and I thought, we were all saying about Hannibal, he's 4 minutes of fame. He come on, yellow card, could have got sent off, just basically run round wild. And we were all like, this is brilliant because we've been starved of seeing somebody giving a bit of passion. One thing you will get from Brandon Williams is certainly that. It's just whether you can control it. But yeah, there's a lad who would love to be playing for Manchester United and will certainly fight to get in the Man United team. We need competition for places at Manchester United. Competition would be healthy.
I just think that the fullback position, as we said, has changed over the years and it's such an important position now.
Yeah.
And we keep talking about the best in class. We need the best in class at fullback as an avenue to create for our forwards. And he does not. I do not look at him as somebody that I feel can fulfill that.
Man City and Liverpool have set the bar, haven't they? You look at them games that they played out against each other recently, and it literally is like a game of basketball. It's end-to-end stuff. And as you rightly say, the main part to their game now is these wing-backs, as you call them. Half the time, you wouldn't even know that they were a left or a right back, the positions they find themselves in, whereas we don't have players capable of that in our team, as you rightly say. And it's a massive part of the team.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I've watched quite a bit of Norwich this season when I can, and he's not good enough for United, in my opinion. I just don't see it. I think he fits in at a club like Norwich. I'm not going to lie, and that might sound harsh, but I just don't. And again, being right-footed as a left back, doesn't really work for me. And when he played right back at United, didn't think he was that great. Passion's there 1,000,000%, but we want people. We want like a Cancelo. We want like a Robertson type player. I just don't think he's ever going to technically be on that level.
That Spence looks like a baller.
Well, yeah, but then, and he does look like a major baller, but then remember when Norwich were in the Championship and everyone was like, Max Aarons, United have to go for Max Aarons. He's come up, he's been crap.
Yeah, but in a crap Norwich team, I still think he's a baller as well. I think in a better team, he'd be better.
This is the gamble. This is where your scout comes in, and this is where we've been failing, because that scout is supposed to be able to spot them moments in them games where you think there's a maturity to a next level that you think you could utilise in your team. We've just sadly not had that caliber of scout. So I mean,
got a system,
there's a point for it all. I mean, no one would have thought Robertson going from that level to Liverpool would have made what he is, but they have got a system in place that works for them. And you know what, they knew that it would work with the likes of Klopp and what he was building there. Do you know what I mean? They look for players that fit the mold of what the manager's trying to do, and that's the importance of Ten Hag coming in and actually implementing that within the squad and hopefully above him as well. And that message hopefully gets across quickly, because like I said, it's not a long summer, there's a lot to do. And that's why I don't think I think we just need I think 2 years will be a good judge. 2 or 3 years will be a good judge of Ten Hag personally. But we've still got Ralph. I'll be covering the press conference tomorrow. We'll be talking about Brighton, obviously. Looking ahead to Brighton. Kev, I'm going to come to you first. One of them games, end of the season, we sort of don't have loads to play for. Brighton themselves don't have loads to play for. Nice weather, warm day, flip-flops, dare I say it, out. Can we expect much of a game? What you reckoning, mate?
Sounds like my kind of game, that. I like it. What can we expect? I think this is the time where you start throwing a few of these kids in. There's no point putting the likes of Hannibal and that on the bench. I think you've got to give them an opportunity. You've got a couple of games there. I understand they've got obviously the cup final Wednesday, but even if it's half a game, give them the opportunity in a Premier League game. I can't think of. I don't know. I mean, you go back to the point of Jesse Lingard saying that he's obviously infuriated he didn't get a run out at Old Trafford. I'm not really too bothered about that at all. I wouldn't necessarily throw him in the team on Saturday. I think
no.
Does the team pick itself? Do you know, it's because there's absolutely nothing to play for. It's like, what do you do? What do you do? I find it really difficult to even... The hair in there, you know, and then why not try a few of the kids? Try the kids. It's just a shame we weren't in a position really to have took it down to the end of the season where we're at least trying to get fourth spot. I'm not saying that would have been a great success or a celebration or anything, you know, like Arsenal do, but it's just a shame, but nothing really to play for. Let's mix it up. Let's see what the young lads can do.
That's it. I mean, Jordan, Slabhead's back in training. Any chance?
Yeah. For me, I actually don't agree with Kev. I want to see the exact same team that we've seen against Brentford. It was our best performance of the season, and I think we still need to cement that Europa League spot, because I'm still looking over my shoulder. I still think like we need to pick up another win. I don't want to see Lingard or Rashford or any of them players anywhere near that team. Harry Maguire can just stay on the bench as far as I'm concerned. I think it was the first time I looked at our team and seen some level of togetherness and players that wanted to play for each other and pass to each other. I said it's a 5:30 kickoff, and somebody said to me yesterday, they were like, it's 5:30 on the weekend. I was like, oh, bloody hell, I don't like the 5:30 kickoffs. And then I was like, I don't like the early kickoffs either. Then I remembered I don't like the 3 o'clock kickoffs. I just don't want us to play because it just hurts afterwards. So I realised any kickoff I'm not a fan of. But I do think we will be okay on the weekend as long as we start the same team.
That's it, mate. I don't like the 5:30 kickoff, especially when you have to drive down the whole length of the country. I'm just like, it could not be any worse than that for me. But Beth, A few players back in training. Is there any shouts of even put a Cavani on there for you or anything like that? Put an Eric Bailly on? Or do you just stick with the togetherness that Jordan just described, which we all seen against Brentford?
I stick with the same team, if I'm honest with you. Jesse Lingard's brother's comments peed me off, so I don't think he should come into the team. I think Varane and Lindelof had a superb game together. I think they look like the best centre partnership that we've got. Eric Bailly has not been seen for months now. Like, it's not his fault. He's obviously just not getting picked, so that's not going to be a shout. And even if so, I'd stick with the same team. Thought Mata played great, deserves to play again. To keep playing Bruno in the position that you played him in, I thought he had a good game there as well. Just the same team, and then if we end up playing well, I agree with Kev. There's no harm in bringing on a Garnacho or a Hannibal and give them some time on the pitch, but starting with the same team because I think they all deserve it. To be honest with you.
Yeah, would we be happy going without 4-2 again, just to prove that it can be worked on and can work?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I thought it worked very well at Old Trafford with the right players in there.
That's what it is. I mean, the right players for the system, isn't it?
Yeah. And players that want to play it. That is exactly a massive chunk of it is mentality. They wanted to play.
Yeah, exactly that. People keep saying about Bruno's petulance and his moaning, and 100% on the pitch he can be a moaner, but he's clear in the dressing room. He is not a problem whatsoever. He's got picked every single game by Rangnick, and even Fabrizio said on channels that Bruno is not the issue. He wants everything good towards his club. I think there's a few other people in the dressing room that are the issue, hence why they're not getting game time right now.
Yeah, it's good to see. Ralph, just before the curtain draws, Kev, he's making waves, innit? He's showing that, look, if you'd have given me all the control, because it's quite clearly that he's not, in my opinion, but yeah, I'm not saying he would have been right up there or whatever, but it was quite clear that the team that he picked were players that actually wanted to play for that shirt against Brentford, and I'm with everyone else. My team really doesn't change. You don't change a 3-0 winning team, not with a clean sheet for United as well. I mean, oh my God. And I said it beforehand. It was like Brentford had lost one game in 6, and they'd had Chelsea in there, they had Spurs in there, no mugs, and we were on a really good run, and they didn't threaten at all, apart from the first 10 minutes when we just getting used to it again. But I think we could do with a bit of that against Brighton, mate.
We certainly could. The one thing you can say about Ralph Rangnick, I don't know how many Man United fans will judge his short term at Manchester United. As his tenure's gone on and it's started to come towards the end and he knows it's coming to the end, he has just started dropping bombs left, right and centre. And you know the honesty. It did start. He got his feet under the table. He addressed the Martial, the Lingards, and started going in on all them. And he is literally... I enjoy his press conferences. I feel sorry for him. He's took on a role that he's not been backed in. I think we know that he wanted a midfielder in January, some kind of help in the engine room. Didn't get backed by the club. And the thing is, he will still be at Manchester United in some capacity when he finishes this caretaker role. So I think he's got to the point now where he's not even bothered. You know, if United were to turn around and try and shut him down and say, it's all right, just leave. I think he's seen that much at United and it's rotten to the core that now he's almost like, I'm just going to say it as it is. And that's exactly how it should be. And the thing is, he'll pass that on to Erik ten Hag as well. And it's one thing we've talked about Manchester United is the next manager needs total control of this club. And the clear out has started, as you rightly say, scouts, there's people leaving left, right, centre. And it's great to see. It can only be good for Manchester United because a lot of these people in the background, people that we didn't even know were employed, these fancy job roles and that, they've had it far too easy. So the rebuild starts this summer. I'm looking forward to it. And at the same time, I can't wait for this season to end.
Yes, that is it. But before it ends, we're going in with score predictions. Kev, on that statement, give me a score prediction for Brighton on Saturday, mate, first of all.
Well, you come to the expert here because who predicted a 3-0 win against Brentford? I think it's the first
Go
one
on,
I got.
Kev.
Well, I did get it. Check it out. 2-0. 2-0 Manchester United. Another clean sheet. If it's the same team.
Yeah, Jordan, where's your confidence levels, mate?
Yeah, I agree with Kev. I think if it's the same team, most importantly, the same centre-backs, we're able to play that higher line, I think it'll be a 2-0 win, another clean sheet.
Oh, Beth, what are you going for?
I was going to go with that, but no, I'm not. I'll go with 2-1. I'll go with 2-1. I can't see us scoring more than 2 goals, but Brighton have always got it in them to possibly score one, but I do think we'll win.
How many goals does Ronaldo need to hit? Is it 20?
He's got 2 more. He's got 18 right now.
Well, we know that man is stat crazy. So we know these next 2 games, he's going for it. If he starts them games, he's just now not. It doesn't matter if he can't get top 4 or whatever. He is now the ego Ronaldo. I am going for it. He'll want the golden boot him if he can score 10 goals or whatever.
Yeah,
you've convinced me, Kev. I'm going 3-1 now.
Go on.
I'm gonna top trump you all and go 3-0 then.
Ooh,
that's it. Go in it.
Nice.
Go in it. My own decision. That's it. 3-0. Fancy a double 3-0.
This is what one win does to us.
I know.
Yeah. You know why I think it? It's simply because there's not that much to play for now, and the pressure's off. And there's a few players there who are like, you know what? I'm just going to go out with a bang, and hopefully he does stick with that team because they deserve to start the game. And I think, you know what? I think Ralph will stick with it. Like what Kev just said there. It was like he doesn't really care right now. There's 2 more games to go. He's like, I don't care who wants a farewell. I'm going to play the team that's played for me, the first team that's played for me pretty much since I've been here.
But we know that's exactly why Jesse Lingard was not involved in that game the other night against Brentford. And this is another parting shot of Rangnick that I go, fair enough. You know, and you know for a fact his brothers put that on Instagram that has come back from Jesse Lingard, feeded through to him 100%. And from Rangnick's point of view, to bring Cavani on, you know, in front of him, and Phil Jones even, it's almost like, have a couple of them, mate. You couldn't train, you couldn't get yourself fit. You know, you've done all this flirting with West Ham, all these pictures on social media and all that. Last game at Old Trafford, have a bit of that, mate. And that's exactly what he's done. And you know for a fact it's touched him. But Rangnick's already said he didn't come on the other night because he's not been able to get himself fit in training. So what does that tell you about Jesse Lingard as a footballer? Can't get himself fit.
Everything you need to know. Well, that is it, guys. Cheers for tuning into the show. We're finished with the Thursday Night Forum. It has been a more of a positive note one. I like it when it's a bit more like that. Hopefully that vibe continues into the football this weekend as well and we get the results. But Kev, cheers for coming on as always.
Thanks as always. Fan Forum Saturday, straight after the game. So hopefully we're discussing another Manchester United win. Imagine the sheer excitement of 2 games,
2 in a row.
2 wins in a row. Bring it on.
Lovely. Jordan, cheers for coming on, mate.
Always a pleasure. Love a Thursday night sesh with you guys and see you for the Fan Forum Saturday.
Lovely. Beth, cheers for coming on.
Great to be on as always, and it's a shame that next season we're probably not going to have the Thursday night show, but it's been great while it's lasted, guys.
Yeah, we are going to have to shift it over to maybe a Friday or a Wednesday, aren't we, just to get it going again, but I'm sure we'll fit it in the schedule.
Wednesdays.
Better for Jordan.
Yeah. I'm in the mix Friday. I'm in the mix. No working. Guys, all the super chats, the new members, everyone's comments in the comment section. Cheers for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the United Stand, bottom right hand corner there for everybody. We will see you. I'll be back with Ralph's press conference tomorrow, obviously road trip and vlogs on Saturday for Brighton. And like the guys said, the Fan Forum will be back Saturday afternoon, or Saturday evening even, after the game itself. Cheers for watching, everyone. Have a good rest of the night, and we'll see you over the weekend.